On January 6, 2019, I came up with the idea to gather a collection of people to discuss interracial relationships between Black and white couples. To make sure I covered every end of the spectrum regarding this topic, I invited 3 white women, 2 white men, 3 Black women, and 3 Black men. We all decided to sit down at the table and discuss why Black women have such a huge problem with Black men dating white women. Here it goes. Shalisa Marie Radio. SMR family, welcome back to episode 22. This week around, I got a new female artist for you guys. She goes by the name of Jade Inc. She is from Toronto. This song is called Dark Skin. Check it out. Shalisa Marie Radio.
I don't love just anyone. I am not just anyone. I rock heels, I rock Jordans, and I wear wigs and rock my natural. Can you believe he says I'm pretty for a dark skin? He was dark skin. I bought some Hennessy for these niggas. Wonder if they love their mother. I love their skin colors. I grew up on the west side. I relocated, I went downtown. I used to get so faded, I was so reckless. All that time I wasted, now I'm older, and it's so precious. Remember when my mama showed up at the club? I was on the edge, 13 in the club. They had shooters on the roof for the killers. When that nigga got shot, he never got up. Almost every club that we went to got shot up. Ay. They got rolled. Dark skin girls, they always saying that you're pretty for a dark skin, yeah. You're pretty for a dark skin. Dark skin girls, they always saying that you're pretty for a dark skin, yeah. You're pretty for a dark skin. The fuck does that mean? What 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 the fuck does that mean? The fuck does that mean? I first fell in love when I was 15. But what is love and you are 15? Big deals and baggy jeans, me Jackie and Christine, Jane and Chit away. Drop from to Galloway. My daddy in NY in 97. Same day that Biggie died. They said hurry up, I'm double broke. I'm like, who the fuck is this guy? Since you ain't been around, I've been listening to Biggie rhyme. Since you ain't been around, I've been forced to write my feelings down. But damn, I had a superhero, she cooked and cleaned. 2 jobs with 2 kids. I am not just anyone. Why would I wanna be like everyone? But still I ain't no different or better than you. I cry, I scream, shit, I bleed too. He said my standards are way too high. Well, I ain't gon' be with anyone. I'd rather hold my pillow tight at night. Nigga, I sleep just fine. Dark skin girls, they always saying that you're pretty for a dark skin, yeah. You're pretty for a dark skin. Dark skin girls, they always saying that you're pretty for a dark skin, yeah. You're pretty for a dark skin. What the fuck does that mean? 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 The fuck does that mean?
Radio. This is episode 22. Today we are here to speak about interracial relationships. This topic came about because I found a comment on Instagram about interracial relationships, specifically about black men dating white women and why black women have such a huge problem with black men and white women being together. So a girl by the name of Faith said on Instagram that black men need to pay attention because she thinks that black men are weak, insecure, and unsure because they choose to be with white women. She also refers to white women as oppressors and thinks that they are not allowed to bring the black man home because they think that the family won't accept the black men. So do you guys think that this is an ignorant comment, or do you guys think that this is true?
And going forward, this is a safe space, so your opinion matters. Whatever is on your mind, feel free to express it, and there should be no judgment from anyone else.
Cool. Can I say something?
Yeah.
What about vice versa?
A black
White
woman.
guys and black girls.
There's
Do
not
black
that.
guys get mad about that?
And why is that though? Because whenever society sees a black woman with a white guy, there's not really any like comments
I feel
on
like
that.
there's more of an acceptance.
I don't know. I feel like a lot of guys are like, oh, you're with masked up. Like, you know what I mean? Like when you're dating a white man. So I think a lot of black men are also against it.
But they don't voice it as
But they
much.
don't voice it as much. I've never heard like of people complaining about that.
Well, because then they'd be like, what if they take the black girls or take the white girls?
Maybe you just see it more from the other way around, and that's why it feels like it's being voiced more. You just see more black men with white women.
That's true, because my dad is white and my mom is black, and people are like, that's so weird. Like, I've never seen that before. I'm like, really? Because I think the other way around is, like, not common at all. I feel that way just because, like, that's how I grew up. I grew up in a black household with a black mom instead of the other way around.
Because just think in all our minds right now, when you think of an interracial couple, you automatically think that guy is black.
Yeah. You
All of us
automatically
have already
think
thought
that.
about that right now. True.
Yeah. I don't agree with the comment though. By the way, like the comment though is very.
Yeah.
It was said in a very ignorant way.
A little aggressive.
But I do understand, kind of both sides. Like I do understand why somebody might feel a certain way because like black women have been like targeted for so long and made to feel very ugly and made to feel like we don't need you. We'd rather be with like the opposite. With
So
the white woman. So I do understand why some people might have negativity in their heart when they've heard it for so long. But I don't think it's because the man is weak. And to me, I just think that, like, cool, you want to date, everyone, like, should be able to date whoever they want to date, but don't bash your own race. And that's it. Like, if you don't bash your own race, like, you want to date a white woman or you want to date a white guy, like, don't go to them and be like, oh, I'm dating you because I hate black women. They're gross, they're nappy, they're just, like, don't do that. Just say, like, I just like you, and that's it.
There's a difference between preference and prejudice. Like, when you become prejudiced towards one race of people, that becomes a problem. But, like, everybody has their own preference of people that they would like to date. But when you start speaking negatively against your own kind or one race of people, then that becomes a problem.
I agree. I think that was her preference, the way that she projected it, and that was ignorant.
That was a personal
But that was her preference, and we can't judge that or say that she's wrong. It's just the way that she said it.
Do you think a race can be a preference, though?
100%. I only like black girls.
Wait.
White guys.
So for the white guys, for the white guys, like, do you only date black girls, or do you like?
For me, it's just a preference thing. Like, I don't have a prejudice against any other women. Like, you go out there, you're someone else's type of beautiful, you're just not my type of beautiful. That's it. So if I don't like a girl, I don't say, nah, she's ugly, nah, she's this. I just say, she's not my type of beautiful, because one man's trash is another man's treasure. You know what I mean? So I don't bash them or whatever. I just say, she's not my type of beautiful, move on.
Just might have calling her trash, though.
Huh?
I'm joking.
Yeah.
Call her trash though.
It was just an analogy. Like, you know what I mean?
So for the black men in the room, do you guys have a reason why you guys speak to white women and decide to like gain interest in them, or is it just like you like what you like and that's it?
I just feel like, you know, especially like from where we're from, like we're from Toronto, it's so multicultural and stuff like that. So like,
Diverse, yeah.
it's always like there's so much beautiful women. Like you can't really judge. You don't know who you're gonna come across. You don't know who you're gonna attract, kind of thing. So, I mean,
Do you only date white women?
no, I find all women beautiful. Like
Your past history.
oh, I have dated a white woman before.
Okay, but they're all
I'm just
mixed up,
saying,
like
yeah,
all
yeah.
kinds.
I have no real preference. Like I feel
Mhm.
like, you know, I'm open to anything if I'm attracted to you, right? But one thing I will say is I do want my kids to look like me, so I do want a black kid. But yeah, I mean like all women like are attractive, so I wouldn't say it's a preference thing or one or the other, or I prefer her because she does this or kind of thing. It's just like whatever you like, whatever attracts you, and you take.
And white women, is there a reason why you guys what's the word? Is there a reason, huh?
You're attracted?
No, yeah. Is there a reason why you're attracted to black men? Or do you just like what you like?
It's not specific. Like, I have dated white guys, I've dated black guys, like I've dated Asian guys. Like, it's not because they're black, because I like them. Like, I like you if I like you. Every ethnicity has beautiful people. Like, that's what it comes down to. So, like, why limit yourself to a type? That's what I think.
But from your parents' perspective, this is a general question for everyone. Do they disagree or agree with your preference?
My parents don't care.
My dad disagrees.
With dating a white guy?
Yeah, and I don't know specifically what his preference is, because in our family we had about 3 different white people, men, women. So we didn't have really good relationships with them just from experience. So I don't know if that's the reason, or he just isn't interested, or he just wants me to be a black man. You know what I mean? So I don't know. It all depends on the person.
My parents can, like, truly just don't care at all. Like, when my current boyfriend came into our household, like, I don't even think, like, I know dads are weird with, like, their daughters and stuff, and I don't think my dad even flinched. I don't know if that's because, like, I have mixed cousins in my family and things like that, so it's not, like, at all a taboo topic in my household. So my parents didn't even, like, flinch at all when I brought Nate home.
I think for my family it's a little bit different. It goes along with what you said. You want to kind of you want your kids to look like you. With my parents, I think they specifically kind of want me to be with a Greek man just because we're Greek, and that's all we've ever had. Everyone has always been with a Greek man up until my generation, me and my sister. So it's just kind of a learning curve for them, and I think that's where they are unsure. I think everybody wants to stick, maybe not everybody, but you would like your family to stick with your culture. Maybe some parents prefer to pass that on to their kids and see their kids doing what they did when they were with their husband or wife. So that's kind of where my parents are coming from. But
I also think, sorry, this is just an interesting topic to Toronto specifically, because name another place where you have this many ethnicities in one place.
So much culture. So much culture.
Toronto's the most multicultural city in the
I feel
world.
like it is Toronto, Ontario.
Because like you go to another place and you see a mixed kid, it's like, whoa, like pause, like you know what I mean? Like a lot of people will be like, yeah, like I didn't really fit in with the white people, I didn't really fit in with the black people. It was like in the middle. Whereas here, it's so common that for us it's just natural. So. So I feel like just for us specifically, if we're having this conversation in another country or whatever, I feel like our opinions would be a lot different. But like my parents they don't care. Like so.
Were your parents born in Canada?
Yeah, but we came from Europe. So like my grandparents, like they're like, all right. Like they just see you as a person, you know.
Yeah.
So.
I don't think my parents care, but it is more of a cultural thing. So just being from like Africa. And a lot of my brothers are married to like different girls, and like over a couple Canadian girls. And I think that like one of my sisters-in-law, she doesn't put any effort towards like having a relationship with my parents. So it could be like a language barrier because we speak French at home and all that kind of stuff. But like I think that's more of the disconnect to my parents, wishing like you had someone that would like probably actually put in an effort with them and not just segregate like everything to their family. But I don't think they care at all. I think
I think my dad, well, I know my dad doesn't care, because clearly dated a black girl, but, and multiple others after. So, I don't think he really cares either. He's obviously, any dad would be like the protected kind of, who's this guy? You know, all that stuff. And my mom, I don't think she cares either. She's very open to like whoever. Like, I have aunties that are not really my aunties that are white. I have aunties that are not really my aunties that are black. I have aunties that are not really my aunties that are like Spanish or whatever. You know, I have this whole other side of my family that's not really my family, and my mom's like open to every single type of culture and ethnicity and whatnot. I just think my mom just hopes that they're not stupid and they don't play with your heart and they don't mess around, they don't play games, you know, they know what they want, because I think that's what bothers her the most. So it's not really your race or anything like that, it's just specifically like, don't be dumb with my daughter.
Someone said black men love women who they know will be submissive to their needs. Black men are strong and they know that, but they prefer to have a partner who is weak, so they will feel and believe that they are strong, when realistically it's a weak mentality and behavior they have. All in all, it's an ego thing.
Is it that deep?
I feel like,
Is it that deep?
Kind of.
Like,
There's a level to it.
Is it?
There's levels to
I
it.
don't think that they want somebody that's like submissive, but I feel like they don't like to be. They don't want somebody who's strong as them in the relationship.
I don't feel like they like to be like conflicted, and it takes. I feel like it's not just black men. I just think it's any guy. Like it takes a strong guy to like be able to take criticism, be able to be spoken to in a certain way, and like have somebody like, I don't know how to explain it. Like if you.
Oh, let the guys answer the question. Like, what,
like
what
is
would
it
you rather
true?
have? Like,
I mean, I think it's like a maturity thing. Like, honestly, if you have a girl, like, you know, she should be able to challenge you in some ways. She should be able to tell you, no, like, you're boofing, like, you're not doing this.
Please explain what boofing means then.
We're gonna have like an Urban Dictionary segment.
You know?
Urban Dictionary.
You're not holding up your end of the bargain, so like, you should be able to take that from your girl if that's really your girl, you know what I'm saying? Versus, I mean, a guy who wants a girl who's just going to sit there and listen to whatever he has to say. I mean, that's not really going to help you out in the long run. And, like...
So, for the white women, do you guys see yourself as being submissive to a black man's needs? Because that's like the comment all the time. Like, you guys are weak, that's why they want you. You guys will tolerate whatever they bring to the table when a black woman wouldn't put up with it. Is that true? Because we're not in your shoes, right? So what happens in like that type of relationship?
In my opinion, I read this before I came here today, and I obviously thought about it. I don't think it's true whatsoever. I don't think that I'm weak or submissive at all. And I actually brought it to my man to ask him, like, are you with me for this reason? Do you agree with this? Just to see what his opinion is. And basically he said, hell no.
You guys probably on the hot seat. Damn it. She's answering me.
No, he would tell me the truth regardless. He's not going to lie to me. So I asked him, and I wanted to see for the sake of tonight. And he disagrees. I disagree. I don't think that's true. He knows that I'm strong. He knows that he can find a black girl or a white girl that's weak and submissive, and he chose to find me, who's white, and not either of those things. So.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, sorry.
I feel like in anything you could find any weak or submissive girl in any culture. You can find anything you want in any culture. It's all the same. Beautiful, ugly people. You can find whatever you're looking for. You can find it in that culture specifically. But for guys, it just comes down to maturity. Like all guys are. I say this to everyone. All guys are immature. I'm immature. You're immature. You're immature. But it's how less immature are you? So, facts. I'm immature. Like, but I'm a little immature. Not a lot. It's a difference, you know.
I think it also comes down to like overgeneralization. Like that comment is like saying that every single white girl is submissive.
Yeah.
Like Shalisa's known me since I was like 4 years old, and I'm pretty sure I'm like the least submissive person.
Yeah, I can feel it.
Like
she is.
like I don't want to say in the world because that's a little an overgeneralization. But you know what I mean? Like I think that comment, and I think everybody comes from like any type of anger or like judgment is coming from some type of like place of pain. So, like we can't judge that person from making that assumption, but I do think that it's an overgeneralization because you can't. I do know a lot of like submissive white girls, like it is what
but
it is.
I feel like also like that comment has been going on for years. Like
And I feel
we're
like
in a new stage, you know. Like
no, but I feel like that's why like I don't think the comment is right. I think it's very harsh. But like I think we'd be lying to ourselves if we didn't think that there's a lot of people that feel that way. Like that comment is around because it kind of is a stereotype, and the reason it is a stereotype is because there is a wave of people that truly feel that way.
Like, yeah, or like a large majority of like white people or European white, whatever you want to say, they like to have fun, you know. They don't care. They're willing. You're young, whatever, you know. And that's the majority of white girls. Like, I'm not saying trying to bash or anything like that, but like realistically, more black people or like more like other races. I can't name them all, but you know, they'd more be like standoffish. Like, well, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. Like, you know, they're just more like, you need to prove more to me. And I feel like white girls are more like, well, like,
whatever happens
one night,
I'll
think about it tomorrow. Do what you gotta do. And like, I feel like eventually people learn that through different times throughout their life, like girls, you know. But at a young age, I just felt like seeing that on like Twitter or like Instagram, all these memes and all these like stereotypes or whatever. Like, it's just majority as how I seen it growing up. That's how it was, you know.
Kiana, like, since you're from an interracial relationship, like, growing up, were you ever confused? Because, like, a lot of black women's worry is, like, if they marry a white guy, they have to, like, their kid is just going to be, like, confused and, like, lost in the world when it comes to socializing and, like, learning who they are. So, like, did you ever struggle with that? Because I know some mixed kids who did, but, like, I don't know if you
well, like, me, I'm, like, loud. I don't really care. So whatever somebody says to me doesn't really bother me, but I do notice that like some black girls won't even consider me like black. And white girls, they love me, so it's okay. And I love them too. I love everybody. But I feel like just like from experience from my dad's side of the family, like everybody loved me and they're all white on that side. So I never felt like I wasn't loved enough or appreciated or whatever in that sense of belonging. But like definitely on the black side, it's just like people are like, well, you're light skinned, well, your hair's not really black and you have mixed hair and your skin, you're still white. Like, you know, there's like a lot of that goes on, but I don't think it personally bothered me just because like I have like a strong shell on the outside and I just notice it, but I don't think it's really done anything to me, but it's definitely there. And I do see it with like other kids or whatever. I don't even know how to explain it. It doesn't bother me.
Okay, so speaking for the black men out there, because there are black guys out there who say like, oh, like, I don't want to date a black girl. Like, I don't want a black girl. Do you think it comes from the women in their life? Because some black women can be loud and ghetto and embarrassing in public, and maybe they say that because of the women that they grew up with, and they're like, I don't want my women to be loud and, you know, like walking up in stores cussing people with no brought up.
That's so not fair though. Like, Italian people are loud as like, there's so many people in this world that are extremely loud, but that is the stereotype of black people. So I don't think that's a good enough excuse. I think it's really rooted in self-hate. Sorry, I'm not the man, but I have to say, like, that's deeply rooted in self-hate when you feel like you have to bash your own race. I don't believe that it's like a preference.
I work with a woman that is more ghetto and ratchet than I've ever met in my entire life, and she's white. And she grew up in Scarborough. Like, she grew up around a whole bunch of different types of people. But I've never, I don't know, I don't believe that. Like, that's like, you can single out one race of people. Again, you can find that type of person in every single race. Like, there's that type of person in every single race.
Just follow that.
Exactly. Your environment really influences you in a different way as well, too, right?
So then why do we pull the race card if everyone in this world, no matter the race, can be, like, obnoxious, rude? Like, why is it
It's easy to blame it on something else other than yourself.
You just pull it right out of your pocket.
And it's a maturity. I mean, there's steps for every race. There's stereotypes that we put out there for every race.
They do say the black woman is the most disrespected woman.
That's true.
In the world. And there's a reason why. Like, everything negative is usually thrown towards that way, and anything positive is usually going to the whiter side of things. So,
but it could be due to like media, history, like that things we don't really think about, like just even like the Japanese culture and Chinese culture. Like the reason why they whiten their skin is because the whiter you are, they think the richer you are, because people who work in the fields are tan, right? So just like things like that in general, right? So it could be due to history.
Black people, especially women, have gone through a lot of trauma when it comes to just simply being black. When it comes to jobs, when it comes to relationships, just a whole wide range of being black. So I think that's where it comes from, why people are like, oh, you're black and you're a black female, you're probably loud, you're ratchet, you're ghetto.
They think you're incapable.
So
that's what it is. And they don't want to test it to
like,
see if you are capable.
Exactly.
And I feel like that goes for everybody. Just everyone has a certain extent. Every race has a certain extent of how far they will push you or reject you.
Yeah. And that is media based, like you said, just because if you really think about TV, like I remember before, like I don't really watch a lot of BT, like don't take my black card away, but I do remember when I was younger, people were like, why is there a channel called like Black Entertainment TV? And I think it took a long time for me to realize that like it's because you don't see people that look like us all over the TV. You're starting to see a lot more of that now, so you probably feel like you've always seen it. But if you actually go back,
before, what were they?
Pardon me?
If you did before,
I'm saying, and if you
but
did
if you did before, what were they on TV?
Maids.
Loud.
That's what I'm saying. They were
you know
a specific, like you see a specific kind of black on TV. Like black women are always casted as a very specific person, and the black men, you know, usually there's a thug, like there's this and that. So when you see something enough, you start feeling like, oh, that's really what they are.
Jurassic Park.
Stop it.
And that's why it sucks. But like someone like Cosby, like you know, canceled. I know he's canceled, but someone like Cosby, that was probably one of the first shows that had a positive look of what a black family is supposed to like look like, because usually like you hold a gun, you're ghetto, you're loud, you're wilding, like all that.
Also, people are just set in their ways. So you know, like some people are just so stubborn and just, well, this is how it was and this is how it's still gonna be until the day I die. So
close-minded.
Yeah, very close-minded and don't want to see it any other way because they're right in their mind.
The whole like R. Kelly trial.
Okay,
that.
I'll leave that
episode. But I think it's shown that like people are like, well, we always listen to him, so we're not going to move on.
Yeah.
When people are stuck in their mind, like it's hard for them to see outside of like themselves.
Because it's what they know.
So we've had some more black men walk into the building. So I'm gonna ask you guys this question. Black men love women who they know will be submissive to their needs. Black men are strong and they know that, but they prefer to have a partner who is weak so they can feel/believe that they are strong, when realistically it's a weak mentality and behavior that they have, and it's an ego thing. So do you guys date white women because they are submissive? Do you think about that? Is it that deep to you? To me, I don't think that like love should have like a color to it, but I get the race thing, but like I just don't think that life is that serious to me. Like I wouldn't like stay up all night like questioning like why Michael B. Jordan doesn't date white or doesn't date black women. Like I wouldn't care.
It doesn't bother me at all.
First of all, for me, like I'm biracial, so black and white, but so yeah, I mean, in that sense, like for me personally, my mom is a black man, obviously, so I consider her sort of, my dad's Jamaican, so I consider her, in a cultured type of thing. She knows what she's, she sort of raised me different than I guess the stereotypical white woman. So me personally, if I'm attracted to a white girl or a black girl, I don't really look for, like you said, weakness. Like I just look for a personality that matches mine, really. And I can talk to them.
And if
they're cute or whatever, exactly. But
how they made you feel?
Yeah, exactly. So.
But do you guys have friends? But do you guys have friends that look But do you guys have friends that look to date a girl that is a little more submissive?
I mean, yeah, I think because
like if you're being.
Yeah, I mean, naturally a man wants to be, powerful, right? So if someone's submissive to them, it's easier for them to be like, okay, I'm in control. I want this, so I don't have to worry about myself, being controlled by the woman. So I think that's why a lot of the times that is sort of the case when it comes to that. But that's me personally.
Honestly, for me as a guy, like, I look for a girl who's like stronger or just not better than me.
Yeah.
Yes, I don't have a man because I'm better than them.
There's something that you see that you need to work on, and that girl's probably in that area of life is better than you at.
Oh, okay.
So I look for a girl that's like.
I think you said not better. Okay.
No, I look for a girl that's better.
Oh, I thought he said not better.
That's why I was like, what?
Oh no.
Yeah, I was like.
Well, his point is like it's gonna help him grow, right?
Yeah.
And you guys are complimenting each other. You guys are both growing in it, and not one person is just relying on the other. It's both you relying on each other type of thing, and helping each other.
That's the stereotype that black men want to date a girl that's more submissive, but white men want to date a black girl that's strong. Like it's weird that it's like the opposite, but that's usually like what is said.
I don't think that's
Weird.
true. Catch this one back here because he's not talking.
You didn't ask me no questions.
No, wait, let me say something. I think I had, my sister just had, her friend tell her that she's very opinionated. So, I mean, because she's very opinionated, that means she's masculine. And she felt, very offended because he was just saying, that's why he doesn't date black women. So, I feel like there are guys out there who really want, a submissive woman.
Yeah. Dirty guys, who don't care, who are just in it for themselves. A typical Toronto man, yeah,
Yes man.
Yeah, yes man, literally.
Yes man.
I think that comes down to maturity as well, though, like we were talking about before. If you're mature, you know that your woman can stand up to you and say what she wants to say and have her own opinion. If you're not mature, you want your woman to be submissive. But it comes to, I understand what you're saying is you don't want her to be, overpowering you and, slopping you up all the time, but I don't know.
I think it should be a dominant maturity thing.
Yeah, it's just
it is mature.
I don't know if it's a maturity thing because you guys have to remember this. I might not want to be, I'm not a submissive person, that's not my thing, but there are women that want to be a submissive woman to a guy, and they want the guy that is powerful. So I think it has to do with how you were raised, what you've seen growing up, and maybe you just want someone to be your knight in charming armor, or you want to be the very independent person. So you just have to know what you want and make sure that you're with someone that's not going to manipulate you into being something that they want for you. But I would never be, that's just not my rule.
Yeah.
But some girls are into it, so you have to remember
Everyone's different.
But there's something that I've heard before that it's some black men don't want to be with a black woman because they feel like they belittle them instead of uplift them, especially when they're going through hard times. Because we like to say stuff and jab,
treat them like a child, but sometimes they act like a child, but you get it from your parents, when you're younger and you do something,
It starts from the home.
You know what I mean? That's all you know. So when somebody's talking to you how you talk to your parents, you just know how to react to it by how they reacted to it. Be listen, da-da-da-da-da-da, and this is how it's going to be, and if you don't like it, I'm leaving, you leaving, that's that.
Yeah.
And sometimes people can't handle that girl or guy, whatever way it goes, so some people just have to feel if they can't hear.
That's true.
So we have one more question because we have to wrap it up. So someone said, do they really respect my culture and who I am and what I stand for when walking around in public with them? So do you guys try to at least get to know really who your partner is, where they come from, the roots, or would you say, what I need to learn more about my partner's heritage?
I think learning about a culture that's not yours is good. It expands your knowledge. It makes you more cultured.
Woke.
Woke, exactly. I don't think I'd ever date a Middle Eastern, Mediterranean person. I haven't come across that feeling yet, but I know friends, my neighbor, and I like to get interested in their conversations, in their language, and how they celebrate certain things. Some Indian people, Sri Lankan people celebrate their period. You know what I mean? So it's all these different things that they celebrate that my culture doesn't celebrate, and how you say a phrase, a saying in their language, or versus how we say in our language, just the saying, like, I don't know how to explain, I'm not saying, but anyway, like, I think everyone should want to do that, should want to learn more about other cultures and just experience that. If you don't want to learn that, like, I don't know what's wrong with you.
Black men, do you guys take the time to learn your partner's roots if you are dating someone of another race?
So, I suppose a culture, like...
Yeah, like, so if you're dating a white girl, do you take the, like,
Yes.
do you, first of all, do you think about her race? Do you choose her for a reason, or do you just date her because you find her attractive, you like things about her? Do your parents...
If I had a white girl, I'm not going to know off the bat, like, what type of white she is. I don't know much types of white. She'd have to explain it to me and break it down. But, like, when I first look at her, I'm first going to be attracted to, physically. And then I'm going to obviously start talking to her and then see what she's really like. And yeah, probably eventually down the line, if she's open to telling me more about where she comes from and how she is, like, I'd be open to listen.
But you don't think that's like the main importance of the relationship?
No, that's not really important to me. Like, where they really came from.
For me personally, excuse me, I'm Jamaican, and my boyfriend is East African Somali. So we come from very different backgrounds, but both of our races grew up together. So he knows a little bit about Jamaican people. I know a little bit about Somali people. So it really brings the relationship further and closer once you know that person's background.
Aren't you guys the same race? You guys are just different, like, from different places.
I guess.
You guys are both black.
Well, for me personally, I speak English and broken English. He speaks Somali.
Yeah, so culturally different.
Culturally different. Yeah, there you
but
go.
same race.
And
though.
the beliefs are
as well different.
I don't know. For me, I feel like I'm open to dating like anyone. But like there is a big piece of me that would love to end up with a black man, and I think the reason why is because like there are some things that are just very hard to understand, and a lot of people from different cultures and ethnicities just wouldn't get in different races. And like so I feel like if you were a different race and I ended up with you, like you'd have to be like super woke, because there are days where I'm gonna feel a certain way because of what's going on, and you might not understand it. You might just feel like, oh, you're making it up, or it's in your head, like the way somebody looked at you and this and that. So for me, like that part, like that's the part of me that would like want to end up with a black man, because you might just understand it without me having to say it. But yeah, but I am open to anyone as long as you're a good person. But like, please wake up, like please be a little bit woke, like please care about the world.
It's just like sometimes you just want like black love. You know how people say that?
Yeah.
Like, that's that black love that I want, or that Lauren London and Nipsey type of love. You know what I mean? But like that's like for every culture, every culture in some part of them might want. Like I just want that same person, because exactly like you'll know each other's like cues or triggers or things just automatic, because like you guys were somewhat raised the same way.
Yeah.
And when it's different, it's harder to just pick up on those things unless you were brought up in that environment.
I think the piece of me also is that you see black families like in such a negative way, like all over the media. So I think like in my mind, I'm like, if I could be like a successful wife and have a successful husband and like we're black and we have black children, like I could kind of be a part of like breaking that negativity, that negative stereotype that you see all over. But that being said, like a lot of these guys are acting up, so I'm open to anyone. I'm gonna be a good person. Be a good person, alright.
I feel like coming from like my perspective as a white girl dating a mixed guy is that I needed to wake up essentially. I obviously like went through high school at ND and everything, and like, but I had a level of ignorance. And like I think when you're in a relationship and like I'm walking through the mall holding my man's hand and whatever else, like eyes at me, eyes at him, like whatever the scenario is, like I've had to really like take a step back and not only acknowledge my ignorance but acknowledge my privilege as well.
I like that.
Yes, girl. I like that a lot. And I didn't realize, like I obviously never racist or anything prior to dating him, but you don't actually realize your privilege. You don't actually realize your ignorance until it's like the person that you love and the person that you're closest to in the world that's being affected by it. Then you're like, shit. Like,
Yeah.
And so yeah, basically.
I'm so happy.
I woke up.
Yeah, good for you. Good for you.
You just have to recognize it, and that's what people like. You can't get
You gotta
you can't get
recognize.
defensive. Like you need to recognize your privilege. Like white privilege is a thing. So please just.
Not a negative thing. It's just a thing.
It's a thing.
It's a thing.
It's a thing.
I have a part of it too. Don't worry. I get away with a lot of things that I shouldn't.
What you doing?
hey, now. And that's something like my boyfriend's dad is Jamaican and his mom's Canadian, and we've had this conversation over the past couple of days. So I was like, oh my God, I'm having this conversation. I'm like, what do I say? And he was like, he straight up, like as a mixed man, was like, I like the opportunities of being half white, but I like to look black. And I was like,
Yeah,
you know what
yeah,
I mean? Like he
yeah.
likes to play both sides of the
I
game.
do.
Like,
Sorry, I'm just agreeing. Like it's a privilege to be biracial. It is. You get the best of like both worlds.
Obviously, you know, there's some cons because there's cons and everything.
Yeah,
but yeah, like, I get
there's
what you're
definitely cons in both sides, but it's like Hannah Montana. It gets a good 2 lives, but like when it's good, not when it's bad. You know? Obviously.
Not when you get caught.
Stop. If you guys were to have kids, that are interracial, what would you teach them?
Both sides.
To love yourself, no matter what anybody says, and if you need to be a bully, be a bully. Like,
No.
Facts.
not like a bully to other. Okay,
Up to the
Facts.
bully, stand up.
yeah, okay, not really be a bully, but like just be blunt. You know what I mean? Like, don't really care
Say what's
what
on your mind.
the other people have to say. Like, don't let that disturb you or bother you in any type of way. Scratch that, no bully. It's just kidding, guys.
Words shouldn't hurt you. It's how you take those words.
Yeah.
And
We shouldn't, but we're human.
yeah, exactly. We're human.
And biracial is not only black and white. It's all types of races. Spanish,
Asian and
Arab.
white.
like, you know what I mean?
Asian and black.
Yeah, there's races that are trying to be together that's worse than black and white. Worse, way worse. Because
religion comes into play.
Yes, exactly.
I'll say that because one of my friends, like he's black and he only dated like brown girls. I'm like, man, like you have to stop. He's like, why? I was like, because you have to convert or you do.
Yeah.
And literally one of his girls said it to him. Like they had a conversation. I felt bad because I had to pick him up. He was like, yo, like I meant they were talking. I was like, yo, you might want to have a conversation about this before you know, like you guys move forward in life, because. Next thing you know, 2-3 years down the road, she's gonna be like, "Oh, like, are you convert?" And you'll probably be like, "Hell nah," and you're like, "All right, I'm done." Then you wasted 2-3 years because you could have answered that question in the first like couple months.
That's so important. That's why you have to get to know the person you're dating.
Oh.
I didn't mean
You don't want to end up like that.
I just meant like I don't have to know her back.
But the root, I don't know, the roots are important. Like for me, like I'm always like, so I am open to dating to a lot of people, but like it does stop at a religion. It does kind of like, it's more in the Christian boat for me, because I know that like I'm not raising my kids Muslim, and there's nothing wrong with Islam. I think it's a very beautiful religion, but I want to raise my kids Christian. So there's no point in me dating a Muslim guy and then getting to that point and being like, well, I'm not converting. There's just no point for me.
I totally agree. I like Afghan guys. And
No, they're cute. I'll
They
show you a
are.
spot. I'm not
What?
kidding. I'm being honest.
Afghan date online?
Scarborough. I'll show you.
Where we going?
No. It's like a food place. So real nice guys, blue eyes,
they're
like
actually
hair.
beautiful.
Everything. I got you.
And
Wow.
one guy asked me to convert like to Islam, and I was like, no, probably not. You know, like I would never wear a hijab, or like I would never. You could only see my eyes. Like no, that's just like not me. I like to dress how I want to dress and express myself.
Is that,
They gotta be down.
You have to ask if that's a requirement, because like you could be Muslim and not wear a hijab and not wear
I know, but
niqab
it's
and
like
not
his mom does and stuff. So I think like that
Or at
was
least if
part
you
of it, too.
have that culture or that religion type of aspect for your children, you know, like
Yeah.
like I'm not gonna do that, but if we end up having kids, then they for
They
sure
can choose.
are supposed to, well, not supposed to, but can learn if they
Both sides.
choose. Like, or when they get to a certain age and they realize that I have a choice, it's like they can do whatever they want.
But
they
religion
should be
and your faith can
in
really
touch.
make or break a relationship.
That's why they say don't talk about religion, politics, and one more thing on first date, because they'll ruin the whole date.
Yeah. No, but then
Well, then you will know.
Get it over
You're
with.
waiting.
Get it
You're
over
not
with.
wasting
Get
any
it over
time.
with.
Get it
I mean,
over
you can
with.
say, I don't know. It's a tricky situation.
And like when you marry someone, you don't just marry them, you marry their family too. So if they don't agree with what you like or what you prefer, then exactly.
Can we all just take in that, like, we're just having this conversation? Because 50 years ago it was illegal to
be
someone of a different race. So, like, the fact that we can even just, like, sit here and have the conversation, whether we have opposing opinions or similar opinions, is still, like, a privilege in itself. Because, like, 50 years ago we wouldn't even be having this conversation. Or I
In
wouldn't
certain
be...
places you still don't
Yeah.
still do this, and that's the one thing. Toronto's so away from so many levels, but
Agreed.
it's amazing on the level of like us being multicultural and us hanging out together. Like we're not just like, I think even like in New York, there's a lot of people from different races, but they actually don't actually hang out together. The Dominicans stay by themselves. Like everybody stays in their own thing, so it's sick.
I have something else to say.
Yeah.
Honestly, I feel like all these like relationship norms and all these things that people are talking about, like black guys not liking black girls, I feel like a lot of that stuff comes from like social media and all the stuff that people are seeing on the internet nowadays. Because like back in the day when we were younger, like no one really, like stuff like that still existed, but no one was really talking about it as much. So I see all these young kids that grew up with like Twitter and all this stuff, seeing all this stuff, and just, you know, they're just talking about what they see, and that's all they really know, that's all they're seeing all the time, so it just comes out more, you know.
Do you think people didn't talk about it because black people didn't have the option to date outside of black? And now that we're living in a time where we're more together, more black men are dating outside of black? Does that make sense?
Honestly, I feel like when it wasn't allowed to happen, I feel like that would make people do it more. Like I feel like
no, because you get killed.
Yeah.
Oh, but
I don't feel like it ever didn't happen, regardless of if it was allowed or not. People are still gonna do what they want.
I think it always happened, but not to the rate of right now.
Oh, yeah,
like right now, it's like on a whole other level because we are more open to hanging out with people from different races and having conversations.
Yeah, now it's like a normal thing. People want to like create their kids, have like light-skinned babies.
Yeah, people literally do that, and that's a self-hate thing.
That is a self-hate thing.
That's a real like. If I end up with you, like I end up with you, but I'm not coming to you to be like, oh my kids still look like this.
But there's people that have that point of view, which really is messy.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that
want their kids they want their kids to feel what they don't. You know what I mean? Like, if you don't feel comfortable being black, you don't feel comfortable being white, you want to give your kids the privilege. Let's mix it up. Let's make you feel better because I don't feel good by myself, as myself.
Yeah.
I
feel like back to what you were talking about, like, it's a history, you know? Like, it was wrong from the get-go, like, quotations. It was wrong for a black guy to be with a white girl or for the white guy to be with a black girl. You know? So, like, that's still instilled in our brains, in our parents' brains, grandparents' brains, and so on, that it's just seen as wrong, but then it's now being changed to as like, you just don't like black girls because da-da-da-da-da. But like, low-key, it's in your brain because of history and because it was seen as wrong. But times are changing and it's been changed, and eventually, like, it will be okay. And it is sort of okay now for everyone to be biracial. It's just some people are just set in their ways, and a lot of people are migrating over and don't see that where they're from and come here, and then they see that and they're like, what? No, that can't happen for my son. No way. My daughter, no way. I don't trust that. And then they come here and then they see all the news and the stereotypes that are going around, and they're like, well, we can't trust these people because they do this, or we can't believe these people because they always say this. So
it's just media. And you have to know what to tap into and what not to. But to wrap it up,
can I say?
Yes, Mom.
Yes, Mama.
So I just want to say that I am happy to see this forum, right? Because when I was growing up, I'm from Jamaica, born and bred, as they would say. And I came to Canada when I was 16. I didn't see racism until I came to Canada. I did not know what racism looks like until I came to Canada and I saw the color purple. That's when I started to hate white people.
Yeah.
Right? Not because they did something to me personally, but because of what I saw. And then going into the workforce and experiencing racism, that's when I saw the difference. But it goes back to history when black people were treated, they were slaves. They were treated like they were nothing. They were considered nothing. And when you see back then a black man dating a white person, you would say, why would they want to do that? Because I personally has never dated a white guy. I've never dated a white guy because I never thought that they would understand my struggle. Just going back to the history. Like you would have to explain everything to them that they wouldn't understand. They wouldn't know how to feel your pain. And black women, like we're strong people. We have to be. Because a lot of our men, black men, have let us down. So black women just rised up because they feel that they have to take charge, they have to take control, they have to look after the kids, they have to do everything by themselves. So they become strong women because of what the men, black men, put them through. So when we're angry, as you say, when we're angry, it's not because we're angry, it's because it's like a shelter, right? It's like a shelter. So I am glad to see you guys, the new generation, branching out and doing your thing and dating who you love and who you want to be with, regardless of their color, creed. You know, it's up to you. If you think that you can accept their culture or where they're from or their food, and you know, so it's up to you guys to break the cycle, which I'm glad you guys are doing. And kudos to you guys for whoever is dating. I don't care who it is, you know, whether you're black, white, indifference, I don't care, as long as you know they're doing something with their life. They're not, you know, they're not living off you or, you know, waiting for you to come home with a paycheck to spend it. You know, as long as they're being, you know, good, proactive, and doing something with their life and making you happy. If they're not making you happy, say goodbye. That's it.
I feel like this is a clapping moment.
Mom.
Got it. Okay, so to wrap it up, you know, I love Jesus, so I have to bring out a verse out of Genesis chapter 1, verse 27.
Beginning.
Yes, the beginning of everything. He said, so God created mankind in his own image. In the image of God, he created them. Male and female, he created them. We're all beautiful in God's eyes, so we're all one. We all come from the same exact cloth.
Never send it to Sunday school for no reason.
Thank you guys all for coming out to Shalisa Marie Radio. This is episode 22, and woo! Out! Woo! Shalisa Marie Radio.
made it way